Hello, Janet.
Okay, I hear you. I'm trying to park. I'm sorry. My timing is like really, really close, but I am here.
Oh, I know. I didn't think I was gonna make it back in here. We just broke from class, and he's gone to the woods, and I'm back in here, and I'm moving slow.
How are you feeling? Does your head hurt still
Painful.
today?
Yeah, it's just it's not a pounding headache, but it's just that you hit hard,
Oh,
And
yeah.
I had neck surgery, and so I was so scared about all that hardware in my neck, and I'm thinking, oh please, I hope I didn't jumble any of that stuff. I've been
Yeah.
so.
Oh, you're breaking up on me a little bit. I hope I have service here.
I just
You still
went
there?
off.
Okay. I didn't know
Yeah,
if
now
that was
I'm
me or you. I
back.
was like, oh man.
No, this thing may happen. I'm not in great cell service area, and we've got a little bit of Wi-Fi here, but it may go off on me and not work.
I was gonna say, I don't know how good my Wi-Fi is, so hopefully somebody holds.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like
Anybody
everybody's
else in
busy
here?
today.
No.
No.
That's okay. We're
Yeah,
here.
it's okay. I mean, people are busy, you know.
Should we drop the link in the chat really quick before we get started? What do you think?
I don't think it's gonna work for me today. It keeps popping off. I don't know what to do.
Hold on
I
one
can't
second.
get it any stronger. Stephanie. Hey, girl. Oh, you're muted.
Oh,
My
sorry.
internet's going off and on.
Trying to give people the Zoom link. Unless somebody just did.
Yeah.
No.
Both of our
did.
internets
Karen
are going
did.
in and out. So this would be really.
Yeah.
Melissa's in here. We got a couple people.
I think they're going to start hopping on now.
Well,
yeah, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to stay on.
Do you want to go ahead and get started, Laura?
Yeah, we're bouncing on and off. I'm sorry. I'm not in a great area of cell service this time, but we're just going to go back through a couple of things. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I don't see other people. I can't see y'all. Everything's blank. I just see me. But just to recap,
we hear you.
some of the things about joy. I had done a little more research this week.
Oops, she froze.
Oh no, I wanted to hear about joy.
I know. The enemy doesn't want her to speak.
Clearly.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, hopefully she'll hop back on. There you are.
Yeah, y'all go ahead. I'm going to try to sign in on my phone and see if it'll stay better on there. But go ahead, Janet, and then I'll pull out of this one and come back on my phone.
Okay. So I know we were like super curious. Like how far is everybody getting in the book? Are you into energy right now? Has everybody actually read the chapter?
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
I have not. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was just curious where everyone was at. How far have you read?
I've just read up to clarity. I'm still in clarity. No, I've passed clarity. Hold on. Yes, I'm in energy, but I just haven't started it.
That's okay. We still have this whole week that we're going to focus on energy, and we figured we would just go back through and kind of talk about like what we are doing with these practices. Did any of you implement any of the triggers? What are you guys working on with the triggers? So the triggers he talked about were, they could be sticky notes, they could be alarms as we walk through the door, reminders to bring joy, stuff like that. Has anyone done anything like that?
I feel like I've definitely been trying. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that I've been working with my husband on this as well, because obviously, you know, I take care of him. He's at home each day. And so that's something that I've also been working with him on just reframing his mind and choosing joy and choosing to see the blessings each day in just the littlest things. And it's making a difference.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, that's one of the first things I started working on was my husband when I did this. I was like, oh, well, it's a choice to bring the joy, baby. It's a choice. How about, have you guys done any of the setting intentions, release and setting intentions with some of your harder spots in your day?
I think so. I think really like asking myself more often, like, what do I want to bring to this situation and what kind of vibe do I want to have here? Especially like when I go pick up the kids and I'm getting ready to like get them back in the car. And it's usually like this like craziness. It's just, I keep remembering like, how do I want them to feel? How do I want myself to feel? So that's been helpful.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. I get this like really lovely long, close to an hour wait for the pickup line for school for the kids. And I'm like, this is just, I just got to remember, like, how do I want to feel when they actually get in the car after I just sat here for an hour? It is so crazy. But yeah, I love that release and set intentions. Anybody else been using it?
Same thing this weekend. You know, we were out 3 weeks and then come home Saturday night, repack, undo, repack, you know, everything, and leave again Monday. And I had to keep stopping and telling myself, I'm blessed to have enjoyed the time I had at home, and I'm blessed to have the work, you know. So I find the joy in that we get to do what we do and not complain that I've had to just rush, you know. But it's, yeah, there's joy in everything if we just take time to look at that. And I want to talk about one scripture, if I can intervene this. It's like, the joy of the Lord is your strength. You know, it comes from him. And that is the most beautiful thing ever if we just keep thanking him for that. And then, you know, joy itself means a source of pleasure or happiness. So, you know, I was talking to my team this week because we've been going through these things and talking about joy and things. And we're talking about how we find joy and what we find joy in. And it was talking about initiating positive interaction evokes higher happiness levels in both parties. So like if you're even standing in the grocery line and you start speaking to maybe the person beside you or your cashier, a lot of times you'll see y'all get a good conversation going and the smiles start to happen. And you know, you might have made that person's day that just then, because they may have been having a thought pattern like we usually do. And, oh, I've got to get the store done and the prices are higher and we're just frustrated. But you break that by bringing some joy into their situation in that moment. So, you know, very important. Another thing we were talking about is send some snail mail. You know, we're all about being fast and hurry and texting and all that stuff. And so think of someone that maybe could just enjoy sitting down, reading a little letter from you and mail it to them. And you get the joy in writing it, just talking about them, building them up. I mean, I got some this week in the mail, and it was something I needed when I got home this weekend. It was just I just stood there and I read it over and over because it spoke to me. So that's something important. Another favorite thing, watch a sunrise and stand there and actually just take it in. And that's a method of healing, really. I mean, that is a very positive thing in healing. And I'm a sunrise sunsetter, and you see my pictures. I've got to see them wherever I go, and everywhere you go, it's different. I mean, people are like, oh, it's the same sunrise every day. No, even in my view at home, every single day, God creates a new pattern. So you get that joy. Another thing, volunteer. Oh, I know we don't always have time to do those things, but if you can even volunteer for a second, for a moment, an hour, it brings such joy. I love to volunteer. I love to be able to help out somewhere in something local in your community. And that gets to know people in your community. I mean, I moved into an area I wasn't from. People didn't know me. They've always lived there, you know, that kind of thing. They grew up there. They graduated from the high school. And so when I had to be at home, I started driving a school bus. I thought, if I'm going to get to know people, I've got to be in this community and get to know people. And so volunteer and all the things at school and whatever. Exercise, we know what kind of, it's supposed to bring you joy, not pain and discomfort, but it does release the things that needs to bring you joy. Power down your gadgets. Do you know when you can get and stay committed and face to face with your family without the gadgets, what you learn from them? It's amazing, you know, just be away from that stuff. Sometimes I look at me and my husband, we're like, we're sitting there on our stuff and we're not even talking. Let's put these things down. Uh-oh, sorry. I'm getting excited there. They're getting excited. Shopping elevates your mood. It increases happiness, unless, you know, you're not supposed to be and you're spending money, but it's still fun. Spend time with your favorite canine. I've got my babies and I love it. They do bring joy. And then journaling. You know, we're talking about this a lot. Journaling, gratitudes, writing down your gratitudes in the morning and or at night. I like to write them at night too. I like to go back through my day and thank him for the things that I've had throughout the day. I was thanking him last night for not breaking any bones as I fell out my RV steps last night. I landed on the back of my head and it's busted open and I'm very sore today. So I'm very thankful it wasn't a trip to the hospital or, you know, something like that. So 30-minute walking takes 20 minutes to release the endorphins and dopamine. So you need to increase your walking. So if you want to increase the things to bring joy, a good night's sleep, you wake up happier. You've had a relaxed night. And I actually slept very good last night. So I was very thankful for that. An optimistic and positive outlook on life. Some days that's hard, guys, with what we're hearing and seeing. So, you know, having that brings happiness, brings more successful in your business when you have an happier and optimistic outlook on things. Spend time with happy people. You know, you can very quickly get connected to people that are always downers. And I'm like, okay, time out. I'm sorry you feel this way, but I just can't. I cannot be around that very long. I am a happy person and I want to stay that way. I'll pray for you. How's that? Because I don't like people that feel they need to live in their misery. Let's see. Write down aspirations. When we have goals to guide us, we are happier. And we hear that plugged in our heads all the time. Write down goals. Right? What you're striving to be. So that was just some things to go back around about finding your joy in your life. I just thought it was kind of neat. There's, you know, you can just Google it and type in, how do you find joy? And all these things popped up because everybody's like, where do you get all this stuff? Google. You know, it's just, you find it. And it spoke to me. So I hope that somehow that may have spoke to you, just some different things there to share.
And those are like some really good ideas. I can't remember if I touched on this last week, but if you guys have not made a joy list, I highly recommend it. Make a joy list, you know, come up with like 5 to 10 things that bring you joy, because you know what brings one person joy might be slightly different than another. But if you don't know the things that are going to bring you joy, you're not going to like stick them in your life intentionally. And it doesn't have to even be a big giant leap. You know, we don't have to find ways to do this thing every single day. But even if we were like, oh, like, hey, going outside and hiking brings me joy, and you found time once a week to do that, and then maybe a little more, and then, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be big giant leaps. Just take a step. And if you know that list, you can pick like, hey, this would be really easy for me to do today, and be really intentional with that. I really loved my joy list. The first time somebody recommended me to make that was like, that was it. Does everybody have a joy list? Has anyone ever made one? Yeah, Melissa's got a joy list. Okay, I love it. And Laura went over some awesome ways to bring joy. And some of those also touched in our practice 3, which was optimize health. Has anyone done anything specifically this week for like getting better health or like taking the next step? Well, Lisa says yes. She looks for real serious on that.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry I'm late, guys.
Oh, you're
I had a very important eyelash appointment. I was it is what it is. So no, but I did like, remember I was telling you my Peloton was broken?
yes.
It doesn't work when I stand on it, like it creaks and like it's gonna fall apart. But if I sit, it doesn't make any noise, so I'm fine with that. So I did work out a couple of times by sitting, and then I also did, you know, the weights. And I don't know if you guys like highlighted your favorite parts, but the part that really hit me in this chapter was, if you're not a kid anymore, you're in an older demographic, that's me, then exercise is everything. Did you guys talk about that already? Exercise is everything. It's been shown to be effective for depression. And I gotta say, before I started back exercising this last week, I was falling into the depression trap. It's starting to get cold. It's starting to get depressing a little bit, you know, and you start thinking about those long winter months ahead of you. Well, Melissa doesn't, but the rest of us think about it, the long winter months coming ahead of us. And it's like, can I make it through? Do I have enough joy, as Janet said, and Laura said, do I have enough joy to get through? And I realized that my joy comes from moving, even if I don't want it to, because I don't want to exercise. I'd rather sit on my butt and watch TV, honestly. But I do it because it makes me feel good and it makes me feel less stressed overall. That's all I got to say.
It's so funny because I feel so amazing after I exercise, but I never want to. It's like,
Oh.
why is my brain not like computing that? Like, you love it after you exercise and you feel fantastic. So why are you so like reluctant before you do it every time? Why can't my brain figure out that 2+2 little math lesson there? But we did talk about last week about if you are rating your energy level on anything less than a 7, then this is the most important chapter, is optimizing your health, exercising, bringing the joy, you know, energy in general. So definitely if you're rating yourself below that, it is super important, like Lisa was talking about. And the last practice with the optimizing health, that can be so many things. And we discussed last week on, you know, typically, you know what those things are, you know, like, hey, I need to do a little more in this category, or maybe I should focus on that. But it can be so many different things, from, you know, getting a little bit more sleep to moving your body more often. If you're somebody who sits at a desk, get up every hour and even just walk back and forth in your house. I literally do this, guys. My Apple Watch tells me stand up, and I stand up and I pick up my weight and I literally just make a couple paces back and forth in my house. And then I sit back down just so that I'm getting that circulation going. I really, really love this. And I have to give Brooke credit for this. She's like, it does not have to be big. It does not have to be an hour. I was a professional gymnast for like 10 years. That was a really hard concept for me to swallow, that like, you can go do 5 minutes of exercise. You can go do 10 minutes of exercise and it will make an impact, because that was never drilled into me, that was even a possibility, that was moving the needle towards me being healthier. It was like, no, you're either doing an hour plus of exercise or you're not doing enough. And that is so not true. Let me tell you, 8 minutes will change your life. So, getting a little bit more movement, the sleep that I mentioned, there's so many things, starting to eat slightly healthier, you know what I mean? Getting that breakfast in, drinking your ounces in water. It doesn't have to be all of the things, but you can start with even the little things. Were there anything else that you guys really loved in these chapters that you wanted to talk about?
You know, I had something that actually helps us with our businesses as well when we're coaching people with their health. And on my book, it's page 120. I don't know, it's just the where to start. So if you see that, I'm right at that paragraph. So if you're in good health, start with a regular workout schedule. But people in poor health, start them with good eating habits, and then that helps get them into exercise. So think of the people that we work with. Sometimes we work with the most unhealthy people out there because they're just grasping at straws. They've tried everything else. And I think about people, I've literally had, I think either 4 or 5 people in the last maybe 6 to 8 months tell me they want to lose close to 100 pounds. You know, it's very doable. My cousin has lost 60 since starting the resets. It's very doable, but you have to realize that we can't just tell them, let's get you moving, let's do it, when maybe they've been sedentary. You know, like you were saying, Janet, you know, what is it about us? Well, it's like physics. A body in motion tends to stay in motion, but a body at rest tends to stay at rest. So people who already are very sedentary, it's a lot of work to start working out. So that was just very mindful to me of going, how do you greet your people that are needing a really big change in their life? Well, you start with their food. Let them do a food journal. Let them start with what is going in their mouths. And also just about how right above that it was, beware of using meals as a way to push down negative emotions. I think a lot of people do that, even if you're in really good health. I think we still do that at times. You know, sometimes we eat out of boredom. So I really got a lot out of this as it relates to our business and working with people.
He also said too that food's not new. And so that's why it's a good place to start, where exercise for a lot of people is new. It's new, or at least it's new now in this season of their life, and where food is not. And so it's just a transition and a shift that you're making with food. And so a lot of times it's easier for them. I will say with the reset though, that really opened my eyes. And I can't remember if I told you guys this last week, but to the habits I had around food that I didn't even realize. You know, I didn't realize that after the kids went to bed and I sat down and I had that quiet time on the couch, that was my time to like go in that pantry and just like grab some extra stuff. And you realize this with the reset. And I really, really love that about that, because it will help our people that need to make bigger transitions register where the problems are around food and stuff like that, and have healthier habits.
So I've been a lifelong dieter, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And the reset has really, really helped me switch my mindset around food. So I always recommend it, even to people who say they can't do the 3 days. And in fact, I really think if you have a lot of weight to lose, that you do at least 1 or 2 days of fasting every week, because that has really changed the way that I look at food. Because when I know I have to fast Monday and Tuesday, and I don't know if you tell your people this, but Monday and Tuesday you're fasting, by the rest of the week, you don't want to screw that up. So you're more committed to your weight loss and your plan. You're not eating whatever you want the rest of the time. You're more committed to your plans. Whereas if you do it once a month and you have a lot of weight to lose, and some people can do this, but I can't. I tend to lose my grip on my eating habits about 2 weeks in. I'm like, oh, well, forget it. So if you have customers that have a lot of weight to lose, even if they're not using the reset boxes, which are perfectly nutritious, that they try that 2 days of really cutting calories and high protein. I don't know what that would look like, but that's my advice, because I'm down. God, I weighed myself this morning. I'm right on the edge of 30 pounds. So I'm like right there. I mean, I tried on a bunch of pants today. I mean, it's one of those wins that you get that I haven't seen in, I can't tell you the last time. I can't even remember how being this weight before, not in a long time. So every single week to be committed, and sometimes that looks different for different people. And like it says where to start with food, Janet, like you were saying, yes. Food is everything. Exercise is great, but food is where it's at. Or Stephanie was saying that. Food is where it's at.
Yeah. And I know some people get really bored with healthy eating too. That's my husband. He's like, I don't want to eat eggs every day. And I'm like, well, it's like highly nutritious and it's easy. Like, I don't know what to tell you, babe. And I started making him wraps after the reset, because he lost a ton of weight with reset. In fact, he had not been underneath like 180 that he was at for a very, very long time, probably like 4 years. And now he's like down at 160. And that's huge for him after 4 years of not being able to lose any weight. And he's the kind of person that's like, I'm going to exercise and I'm going to eat healthy. And I'm like, okay, babe. And I'm eating my chips. And so it's just been really, really hard for him, because it doesn't work and he doesn't see the results. And then he started doing the reset. And I was like, okay, well, like, how about I make you these wraps? And like, we make eggs. And he's like, but it's boring. Well, babe, gonna have to find some more recipes then.
Lisa, I was going to tell you that when we were together in Hawaii, your face looks even trimmer than even a month ago. So even if you just did your face from like 6 months ago or whatever, and then your face now, I think people would just notice such a difference already. I just even have in 30 days for you. Oh, you're muted.
My husband said the same thing to me this morning. I'm like, because he said, you're resetting again. And I go, well, I have this goal, and he goes, but you look so good. He goes, how much do you weigh? And then I told him, well, I'm in the whatevers, right? And he goes, you look like you weigh a lot less than that. And I go, well, inflammation is a big thing. And I'm also keeping up with that. And I think, like, who is it that has that? It's Stacy Porritt. She has that inflammation thing where she hasn't lost any weight, but she's lost a ton of inflammation. I feel like that's a contributing factor to me. So ease and active and all of those things along with reset is really powerful. If we could just get people to buy that consistently, would be good.
I always have my people buy at least one bottle, but if not two, of Ease when they do the reset. And I try to get them to do the reset triplex combo with the Ease. And it has made a world of difference in the people that do that. And I have them start the Ease when they're starting the reset. So, and do y'all take 6 of them a day for inflammation?
I was taking 4, but now I have increased it to 6 because I have pain.
Uh-huh. Thanks.
My biggest tip before you go to events or even on a vacation or something, and you're going to be doing a lot of walking, I will ramp up with about 6 capsules a day for a good week or 2 before. And then like convention, leaders retreat, different things. I have the stamina because I don't have a lot of inflammation in my body. And then I continue that through the event or the vacation or whatever. And then for a little while after, that has really helped me a lot. So
I love adding the Immune Plus before we start traveling too. Getting really consistent with that. I'm like thinking about a line. I'm like, I'm gonna need an extra bottle there.
I've been taking that consistently every single day before Hawaii. And I've noticed a huge, like, people have been sick in my house and I haven't.
I had my whole family taking it before we went on vacation and while we were on vacation.
Yeah, it's just so important. They said there's like some sort of triple threat of flu, COVID, and RSV, which I hope we don't get. I think just kids get it, but like that's the last thing. I mean, scare me a little more.
My granddaughter has RSV right now, and
It's terrible.
adults do get it, but really older adults get it. They're like, my husband wanted to take her to see my 100-year-old father-in-law. And I was like, no, we're not going to do that. Give him RSV, but they do get it. But I think in adults, that's why they don't want you kissing babies right up at close if you don't really know them or whatever, even if you do know them, because of that. The adults can have it, but they don't know it's RSV. Feels more like a cold or a flu, I think.
Yeah. And this is the season too. I mean, school starting, and then you have all the holidays that come, and then the really, really bad cold weather. I mean, definitely the time to take care of your health on a whole different level.
I'm going to
and like
California
we
this
talked
week.
about. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say I'm going to a funeral this week, so I'm getting be careful with.
Yep.
Make sure you take everything. Go ahead,
Yes. I was just going to say with the sugar detox that we all just did, just knowing the statistics of all these kids at the end of this week and obviously on Halloween itself are going to be having a ton of sugar, probably their parents as well, maybe, I don't know. But you just think about that suppresses the immune system. Then going into the whole first couple of weeks in November, you're going to see a lot of people just going down with colds and just respiratory. And so, yeah, doubling up on anything you can is so good.
It's funny. I was just having a conversation with my daughter the other day about this because she's 12 and she's starting to get like the acne and all that. And I was like, I can't remember how it came up. Something some sort of the sweets that was happening at school. And I was like, I just wish that when I was your age, my parents had been like, well, if you had cut the soda or cut the sugar, maybe your face would stop breaking out as much. And it's like, to a degree, it's hormones, but a lot of it's what we eat. And I remember when she first started breaking out, my instinct was like, oh, let's go get the, like, you know, Clearasil from the CVS. And then I was like, wait, no, that's not what we're doing. Like, because it's instinct with these things. We forget, you know, it's how we were raised. And I feel so grateful that I can be like, well, if you didn't have those cupcakes, maybe your face would stop breaking out. And she's like, oh, and she's noticing these triggers at such a younger age than I ever did, is what the sweets do to her. And when she gets moody and she's like, she'll even say, I think I had too much sugar because I'm just emotional. And I'm like, I love you.
That's so funny.
That's so awesome that you're teaching her that. Like, it's so important. Like you said, like I didn't learn any of that. And I just feel like we'd be in such a better place if we knew that stuff. It's so important.
I drive her nuts sometimes, but I'm like, I'm just giving you the facts. You make the decision. Because obviously she goes to school and they just, here's all the candy and all the things. And there's no regulation around it because she's in middle school. And I'm just like, you know, the information, you make the decisions, you know, like not at home. That's all what I'm buying. But at school, she knows. So, yeah. Has anyone done have you guys gone through all the performance prompts? Were there any that really stood out to you?
Wasn't necessarily the performance prompt, but in my book on 129, he was talking about at his seminars where he challenges people in the next 12 months to get in the best shape of their lives. And that kind of like, I was like, like challenge accepted. Like that really, and he gave like tips of like what to start doing. And I was like, you know what, that's really going to be like my focus. I need to get stuff in gear here.
I feel like, Melissa, you're in where I used to be when I was teaching in Oakley or in Brentwood. Every time there was a break, I'd fall off the wagon. And there's breaks all throughout the year. There was just one in October, and then there's another one in November. So I'd spend the next 2 or 3 months recovering from that break. I just feel you because I know exactly what you're going through and you should have fun on vacation, right? But at the same time, how do you balance that and still stay in shape?
Well, I feel like I was pretty consistent and was doing pretty well before summer. Actually, like before this year has just been kind of off. Like when I go back and I look at my statistics and stuff on my app, like it's just been, I don't know. My motivation has been lost. My energy's been low. Clearly my clarity is out of line. So yeah, I need to recommit and get back on.
Yeah. So he said, start doing what you already know you should be doing to optimize your health. You know what you're supposed to be doing, right?
I was going to read too. It's like, we all know what we're supposed to be doing. We hear it day in, day out. We just got to take the steps and do it.
Yep.
And also, like, when you get off track, to make sure that you get right back on it, which is why I'm loving the reset. Because if I do have a cocktail or something over the weekend, I don't feel like I'm gonna spiral that into the whole week's worth of, you know, binging on food or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's an emotional thing for me. I don't know about you guys, but I am an emotional eater.
Yeah. And don't punish yourself for it. I think that's what keeps us going backwards, that we start downing ourselves. Oh, we failed. But that's okay. We had a bad day. Today's another day. We're going forward. We're going to make better choices today. Today I had God's chicken. I mean, tomorrow I'll have the salad.
Well, Laura, what's funny is you said, don't beat yourself up. You know, the thing is if you didn't realize that you had misstep, like today you had this chicken, tomorrow you're going to have a salad. It's those realizations that make all the difference in our health and in our customers' health, because sometimes they don't even realize that they're overeating or that they're not doing all the things. Like if I ask them, what did you have to eat today? And they tell me, I'm like, well, you can't have keto coffee when you're doing the reset. I'm sorry, that's not going to work. Right. It might be fine every other day, but not today. So they don't realize what they're doing. And that's the key thing is you realize, okay, I had this today, so now what do I do tomorrow to make it better?
Speaking of reset, I don't know if you guys have figured this out yet, but anyone that is on their cycle, I have not had really good success with
Right.
reset. I've been making people steer clear of that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, one of our girls, Kara, who's not on the call today, but she had this problem. She did her first reset on her cycle. She got her cycle during the reset.
Oh.
And she just didn't do very well on it, but then she did, and she was sick. She had to take Imodium. It was like some sort of double whammy with the hormones and everything.
Val did it too. Yeah.
Must
And
have been her last period.
My daughter did it on hers, and she didn't lose very much at all. She did lose a little bit, but not very much, and she was real discouraged. She didn't lose any inches or anything. I'm just sure it was the bloating. So
if y'all have had anybody on an antibiotic, do you discourage them from doing the reset while they're on the antibiotic, or what's your position there?
I would.
I would.
I
Okay.
didn't. I was on antibiotics, so for a sinus infection, I did the reset. I didn't have any problems, but I have good gut health.
Right. And you
Right.
have
You know,
some,
I'm actually, y'all, I'm just kind of baffled because I've done 3 resets. I was 3 weeks ago, I think I was 1 ounce from breaking into the 120s goal. And I have had a sinus infection, like now I'm having to see all these specialists since the end of July. But this is my 3rd round of antibiotics, which horrifies me because I haven't been on an antibiotic in 15 years until this happened. And anyway, in the last week, I have gained a pound every day, which is not possible. So it has to be the antibiotic. So I don't know. I'm baffled and discouraged, but I don't want to start another reset while I'm battling whatever's going on there.
yeah, I wouldn't.
I'd
Not when
wait.
you're super sick. I'd wait.
Yeah.
What
Okay.
else are you doing, Vicky, to get over this sinus thing? Besides antibiotics, have you tried like the sinus rinses and stuff like that?
I
I get them
haven't.
all the time.
I haven't, because I have, as far as I know, I've never had a sinus infection before. I went to Colorado for about 10 days in July, and I came back feeling like my ear was like stopped up. But sometimes that happens when you go from high elevation to a low elevation. So I didn't think anything about it at first. But like I said, this is my 3rd round of antibiotics. So I finally went, and I have a nurse practitioner daughter who, so, wrote me prescription for them. But I finally went to the doctor and to my dentist. And now I've been referred to a periodontitis and to an ear, nose, and throat. So I had a CT scan, and like this side's fine. This side is like completely blocked with mucus after 3 rounds of antibiotics. So it's
did they
not.
say about your mastoid? The ear?
I'm
Mastoid?
sorry.
Did they
See, I
say
can't hear.
your ear?
They didn't from that, but they did. One of the other reasons that they referred me apparently to the peritonitis is the mandibular bone down here showed something that they're not really concerned about, but they just want to check it out. So I have a high avoidance of doctors, so this is like really tripping me out. I'm like,
So I would highly recommend the neti pot or the sinus rinse. I have sinus infections. I was chronic every 2 to 3 months before I started gut health. I always had them. Now I get maybe 1 a year, but that is the first thing I do before I go to the doctor. When I first notice that it's starting to clog up, is do the neti pot and do sinus rinse, and then get some Flonase too.
okay, I'll
Over
try.
the counter. I swear it helps.
My daughter got a machine called a Nosebot. They're
Yes, you can get that
expensive,
too.
but she says she wishes she'd have had that above all the other contraptions that she had for this baby. And she can use it, you can use it on yourself or whatever, but it was really good. It just sucked that snot right out of her nose.
Yeah. Well, I need
And
this opened up because it's not only is it drive me crazy because at first it was really painful. And at one point I had like a huge lump here, which
oh,
is when I got the third antibiotic. But the thing that bothers me, I don't really have that much pain with it, except my ears just drive me crazy because I feel like I'm deaf. So anyway, I just wanted, but the reason I was asking y'all about that was because I have so little experience with being on antibiotics, and I take 4 E's every day, have forever. But this crazy deal of gaining a pound every day for the last week, I just can't
I'm sure it'll come off.
wrap
Keep
my
up on
head
your
around.
E's.
How many probiotics are you taking? Have you upped those since you've been on
I take
your
4.
antibiotic?
I've always taken 4 probiotics
Okay.
every night. So,
Hmm.
but yes, I'm being very diligent with those, with the antibiotic, of course. So,
And the E's
but y'all,
too.
this is what will drive you crazy. So when I was at the dentist, they said, okay, we're going to refer you to the periodontist, but I can't get in until December the 14th. And I was like, what are you saying? That we're just like not going to do anything until December? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, you're crazy. I am not staying on an antibiotic for 2 months. That is nuts. And they're like, well, yeah, but I mean, people stay on antibiotics. And I was like, no, no. So
Yeah, I did the same thing. We went to San Diego and we were on a mountain working about 7,000 feet, and and I got all clogged up. And I thought, well, it's just an ear infection. Went to the emergency there. It wound up being my ear, So came home, thought it'd be fine with the antibiotic. I went from December to March, and it wound up being my mastoid. My mouth went sideways. I had that Bell palsy, and I
oh
put
no.
straw, and it just went everywhere. I was like, okay, what's going on? And they said, you need to come in. You may be having a stroke. And it was the mastoid bone had filled with so much fluid, and they had to go in and do surgery. They put a tube first, did all the antibiotics. That didn't work, and I wound up having to go in and then drill all that out. But that's why I always ask when people start talking about their ears and stuff. I'm like, mastoid used to be a big deal back in the day.
Yeah.
Get it and die, but it's not fun to deal with. So I know what you're going through. The antibiotics about did me in. They made me sick.
Well, when I was after I talked to the dentist, who was like, well, I mean, you don't have to take them, but so I called my doctor, my holistic doctor again. And that's when they made the decision to go the ear, nose, throat route instead of I'm sure I'll still see the peritonitis, but I'm not staying on an antibiotic till December. That's insane.
Right.
So, yeah.
I
So
wouldn't
thanks,
either.
Laura. And I may have to go ahead and try the neti pot or something. I have friends that do have sinus infections all the time in our climate. That's pretty much everybody. I just have never, ever experienced it. As far as I know, this is the first sinus infection I've ever had. So anyway, thanks for
I
your
had
help.
my adenoids taken out when I was a kid, so I know all about this. I mean, I've always had sinus issues. I've had the cats, couldn't figure out why I was having these sinus issues consistently. It was like Z-Pak, 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 Z-Pak. And now I don't have super good medical coverage. I have just like major type medical. So now my first line of defense is the neti pot, the saline spray, to just kind of lean over and just let that, because it's natural, let that go in your nose and pull it out. Also, an old Indian thing, put a hot rag behind your earlobe and then put Vicks there and let it sit overnight as you sleep. And
Total sense to me. Yeah.
it's an old, I do that every time I have a sinus infection and it really works.
Yeah. Okay.
Right
well,
in your ear, you know, right there where the earlobe is, like right behind the earlobe, just warm it
Yeah.
up first, then put that in and then sleep.
Well, like I said, with the antibiotic after this went down,
Yeah.
I don't have any pain. It's just, I just want somebody to like take a needle and puncture my eardrum so that it'll
Yep.
just open up. You know what? You know how when you change elevation and you can hear your
Mhm.
ears pop? I will
Yep.
do that like 4 or 5 times a day if I yawn or move my head a certain direction. It's just annoying. So anyway, didn't mean to bug y'all with all that. I just wondered because I mean, I know it's not possible to gain a pound a day when you're still taking your products and eating like you have been eating. But I don't want to like waste a reset if y'all are
I will
advising
wait.
to do it if you're on an antibiotic. Doesn't sound like a good plan. Okay, thanks.
Let us know if any of those remedies help you.
I will for sure.
So Lisa, who's
Have
doing
you-
Thursday still, right? And then who's taking up for the next time? We got our
So-
raise this.
I feel like, so Vicky and Karen are going to start the next chapter. I feel
Okay.
like we kind of finished this chapter, so we don't really need to meet on Thursday unless y'all want to meet Thursday.
Up to you.
Do you want to meet on Thursday, Melissa? We could
I
do,
like
okay.
to meet with you guys.
So
I
we
do
meet-
too. So it's up to y'all. But
Okay, so what could we
Fine.
do on Thursday then?
bring your joy list. Let's go. Let's talk about it and
Perfect.
see what everybody's joy list is and how we can.
Maybe, yeah, and maybe everybody can write out their commitment to being healthy over the next 12 months, like write that down. What you're gonna do specifically to get in the best health of your life over the next 12 months and bring that on Thursday too, or just talk to each other and maybe revise those a little bit, get some ideas. And healthy, not just physically, but mentally.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I
Right.
ask a question about our format for this? And it's been long enough since I did Brooks that maybe I don't remember her format. I mean, I remember kind of the book discussion, and then I remember us having a discussion like day, but the teacher in me feels like it's backwards that we don't cover the book and the chapters and the high points in the book before we like have the discussion on it. But that could just be me.
Right. And I think that we got backwards because the
That's
first
the
night
way
we
I-
just kind of talked about what we were going to do. And then the second time was like, okay, talking about the book. And then the next time was coaching. And the next time is supposed to be book. So it's supposed to be book. It's supposed to be like coaching on things like, and then the book. But it feels like it's backwards to me too.
It does to me. I just wondered
But
if it was me. But it
Honestly, you
doesn't.
could do whatever you want. I mean, if you get into the next chapter, so let's talk about the next chapter really quick. It's necessity, right?
Right.
There's a couple of things, like there's like 3 different things that are within necessity to talk
Right.
about. So if you break those into 3s,
Right.
and then I always like to have like an activity, you know, like what could you do? So if you looked at the performance necessities,
Teacher, teacher, teacher.
yeah, I know, I'm a teacher too.
Just
Break it
Read it
down,
starting. Here's an
backwards
activity.
plan that she's and get it done. No, I'm just kidding.
Paula, I love a Venn diagram.
Me too. I love a good Venn diagram or a KWL chart.
Woo.
Vicky, before I forget and the things go too much longer, have you heard about like spraying colloidal silver up in your sinuses?
I have not ever heard of that.
So
But like I
there were-
said, I've never had a problem with sinuses before,
You-
so I'm a total novice at this.
You might Google that and see
Okay.
what you think. And then you might take colloidal silver too to get rid of that. A lot of my friends that, go all natural do that colloidal silver.
I love colloidal silver, so yeah, I could do that. Thanks.
What are we doing? Raise necessity. So I'm looking. Sometimes I just kind of look at what we did before.
Right.
So
Venn diagrams coming up.
I know.
Okay, so I'm looking for it in the book, in our last book.
This next one's a really long chapter.
It really
It is very long.
is. Vicky, I would just break it up
Yeah.
and then maybe come with some sort of activity we can do on Tuesday, and then Thursday we can talk about like our highlights from that portion of the chapter or something.
Right.
Or we can flip it and we could do the book on Tuesday and come on Thursday and talk about it. It doesn't really
Well, I
matter
just
what
didn't want to
day.
do that without, if people like
No, we don't.
were coming thinking, oh, I don't need to read it until, like Thursday, but
No, I
Yeah.
read it before.
the teacher in me that presents information and then checks for understanding and has discussion.
I love it.
Are you going to give us a quiz?
This
'Cause,
is
yeah.
messing with me.
Can we
Okay.
turn and talk?
See, this is why I love meeting with you guys.
Karen and I are going to meet tomorrow, so we'll figure it out with what she's comfortable with too. And then if we're gonna like cover the book on Tuesday, we'll let everybody know.
So there's that whole like necessity basics, and then it goes into those practices, which are
Right.
really, I just finished listening to them.
Right.
There's so
Practices are
many.
super
So,
short.
well, yeah, but like if you actually try to do something with that,
Oh.
Right.
like like there's section 1 of race necessity, and then there's section 2 of rate. Oh no, that's increased productivity, raise, seek mentorship, level up. So there's a lot. There's meat in
Well,
this.
I really like the part about know who needs your A game. I mean, I think that's something that everybody can really identify with, especially, when we talk about our who and all of that kind of
Yes.
stuff. I
Yeah.
think that would be a good activity as well as
I am just feeling very comfortable that you guys will get it going.
I'm sure we will. So anyway,
Who wants
just-
to do the next couple chapters? After that, Melissa,
Sure.
you can if you want.
With my KWL chart behind me.
I'll
I'm
do it
fine.
with you if you want.
No, I'll do what is it? Productivity? Is that the next one? Increase productivity.
it's social habits in my book.
I think it's
Productivity in my book.
Oh, it is increased.
it's productivity,
Yeah.
but it's social and
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
remember, as we get into November, we won't meet that Thanksgiving week at all. I don't think. I think we skipped that week. Just because it's just so much. It's flying by. I feel like we're going to be done before you know it, but we still have half the book to do it.
Yeah.
The
You
main
guys,
thing
can
is
I-
that we're
go ahead.
learning and we're taking this information with us when we're doing our business. So I think that's a part, Vicky, that I would say, let's connect a little more to how do we use this in our business? What are some ideas to use this in our business?
Yeah. I
Because
like
that's what I need. Like, I'm good. I'm learning about myself and what to do. But like we were talking today about how to advise people on the reset, or how to advise people on,
Yeah,
starting with
great
with their
discussion.
nutrition first. That helps me in my business.
Yeah.
Yep. So practical, application.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I love.
Yeah.
So can I share something fast?
Yes.
This will help Vicky, but maybe everybody. So this is the mouthwash I use. It's from the Health Ranger
Oh.
store. It's colloidal silver. And it's with iodine and zinc. And it has no fluoride, no alcohol, no aspartame, minimum 20 parts per million of silver guaranteed. I really do trust him very much at the Health Ranger store. And then secondly, the bioactive silver hydrosol. If you can see that, basically daily immune support, and it's a dropper under the tongue, similar to how you do our, what is it? It's not hemp, I guess our oil, that we have. But anyway, so yeah.
Would you show me the drops again?
Yes. So it's
Bioactive.
Bioactive Sovereign Silver, bioactive silver hydrosol. And you can do, let me just read this really quickly. It says, Silver has been used for more than 2,400 years to help safeguard human health. It's a natural element that can be found in whole grains, edible and medicinal mushrooms, mammalian milk, spring water, seawater, and tap water. From the time of Hippocrates, silver's health protective properties have been well known and vastly researched. Silver was used to help protect the purity and safety of drinking water throughout ancient civilization. So I just think that's so good for all of us. So anyway, this is the #1 selling silver in the US. So that's at the Health Ranger store as well.
Probably have to be, well, we do. I mean, I have health food stores here, but not a Health Ranger. And the other one was,
Yep. The colloidal silver. This is a mouthwash. I use this every day.
wash. Okay. Colloidal
Yep.
silver wash. Okay.
Yep. From the Health Ranger store as well. So for what it's worth, I think these are good things to incorporate into our health. And then just, they help our products work better as well when we
Well,
get
I
these
do.
kind of
I mean,
things.
maybe that's something that, we'll see coming, but, your gut health starts with your mouth.
Mhm.
It's part of the whole gut system. And we don't really have a product that addresses the biofilm in your mouth cavity and nasal cavity and all of that. So I think this is
Yep.
great. Thank you.
Oh yeah, you're
And
so
you're
welcome.
showing me. What have you got?
Also at the health food store, this stuff, it's called NAC.
Oh, yeah, I use
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I use that every day almost.
It's amazing for viruses, to get rid of
Yeah.
viruses and
If you
colds
think you're
and
getting
all of
sick.
that. Yeah, if you think you're getting sick, pop one in the morning and
Never
I'm
used
popping
it
in the
myself because, y'all, I just am never, ever, ever sick. Like, ever. So, I
Not
mean,
to
like I
change the
said, I haven't
subject.
been antibiotic in 15 years, at least. But anyway, but I do know that the NAC was something that I saw holistic people talking about a lot during the height of COVID. So I
yes.
know it's a really good one to be taken. Yeah. Okay. Great.
There's something else, but I can't remember the name of it that we take every day. It's kind of like a C complex, but it's got all this other stuff in it. So I'll share that with you it's sitting on my
Maybe
counter
like
right now.
zinc, quercetin, vitamin C, any
Quercetin.
of those.
It's
Yep.
quercetin. We take
Yep.
quercetin every day along with our 2 Immune Plus. And then if I feel like I'm getting sick, the NAC. My son was like very much into holistic stuff. He won't even use soap. He gets natural soap. He's like very natural. Anyways, I'm looking for a natural deodorant that actually works. You guys have
Good.
anything that doesn't have aluminum in it?
Yep. doTERRA makes one.
Do they?
Yeah. And it's the only one that I found that actually works because I've tried a lot of them.
Have you tried the Beauty Counter one?
No.
They have one, and you can refill it with just the stuff every time, so you're not doing the plastic every time. And it worked fairly well on me. And I'm in Oklahoma, so we get 116-degree weather
Mm.
here.
Yeah.
So
that's
I
good.
liked it. I mean, I don't use it now, but I did like it.
Yeah. doTERRA had 2 different ones. One had baking soda in it and the other one did not. It had something else in it. But so far they're the only ones that I've tried that actually worked.
Do you have a doTERRA person?
Yeah. Several.
You'll have to send me that.
Okay.
Because I need that badly. I'm
Yeah.
trying to get aluminum free here, but it's hard.
Yep.
So
And
much
I'll have to-
stuff in all of our stuff. Gross.
Yes. I'm going to have to compare because I use a Melaleuca deodorant and I've tried everything too. I mean, like the cowboy deodorant or whatever those are. Like there's so many I've tried and it's like, nope, you still
Yeah.
smell. So yeah.
I'm like, nope, not this one today.
Yeah.
I swear, I think I smell worse using it than I do
Yes.
don't use anything. I
Yes.
didn't, that's like it's pulling it out or what, but it's worse if I do use it.
I agree. I tried a couple and I was like, ugh, I've never smelled like this.
Exactly. Never.
Let me tell you, if I know I'm not going to really be sweating a whole lot, I just will use our body cream. under my arms. And that's a
Yeah.
natural deodorant. So, I mean, if you're not going to be like out in the heat, like 116 degrees, maybe you might want a deodorant. But if you know you're not going to be out in something, I will just put that on. That helps detox as well. So,
That's a
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
idea. You know, it's so funny. I was trying to remember not too long ago what I was using for skin before we released Joyome. And
The
then I
body cream.
remembered it was the body cream,
Yep.
and I
I use the
loved
body
it.
cream on my face.
Kind of thinking about going back to it, to tell you the truth.
yeah,
A
and it's a
lot of-
natural hair detangler and conditioner. I mean, mosquito bites, there's so many things you could use body cream for.
Sunburns.
Really?
Yes.
It
Yeah.
needs to come in a bigger bottle.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah,
It's literally put it on everything.
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
So the
But,
people watching at the very end, because we're still recording, are going to go, whoa, the wheels came off, girls, but you had some really great conversation.
They
Oh.
said something, the people that I followed said something about using like a charcoal detox under your arms before you use the natural deodorant because it helps pull that out. So like if you even like a charcoal face detox under your arms is what people were doing.
And the body cream
The body
has
cream.
the activated charcoal in it,
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm,
They
along with a
said
lot of essential oils.
great
mhm.
Yep.
stuff. So, yeah. I'm so glad you mentioned that. I don't know why I hadn't thought about
Yeah,
that.
we can all tell our teams, because there's a lot of new people that just started since Joyome started. They never used body cream for all the different things we did, just
Right.
I
Yeah.
use it on my hair. You can't tell today, but I use it on my hair and love it.
I put
Yeah.
it busted head. I rubbed it all in there because I know it's going to help it. I rubbed it in there.
good.
Rub
Well,
it
we'll
on
pray for
your
no-
little scalp, too. I saw your head wound.
Yeah,
not-
we'll be praying for you, Laura.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Hey,
Vicky.
y'all. Okay, I have
Yes,
stopped
Vicky too.
recording. Y'all
Yeah.
stop the recording because this won't apply at all, but it might. So have you ever had your phone on Messenger stop showing any graphics or pictures or anything? All the text is there, but there are no, it's just
You
blank.
probably are out of space.
You need
in
an
your phone.
update? Yeah,
I have unlimited, but see that?
yeah.
I have
That's great.
unlimited data, huh?
In Messenger itself, you probably need to close some of them or something or delete
Or maybe
them.
reinstall Messenger.
You got too many.
Well,
Uninstall
restart your
and reinstall.
phone.
is your phone full? Even though you have unlimited data, is your phone full? Like I can't use my iPad right now because my dang iPad's full of pictures and it won't download something because it's full. And I mean,
Yeah,
it's
my
like trying to down-
iPad will do that, but I'll get a message saying memory's full. I haven't ever
You
gotten
have it
a
with your
message.
phone? Okay.
Anytime
Yep,
anything
have
like
you-
that happens here, my husband always says, turn it off and turn it back on.
Yes, I was
I've
just
done
going to say, turn it off and
That was
on.
my first one is reboot, but it was fine yesterday. And then yesterday afternoon, it stopped. And I, of course, Googled it and none of the stuff it said to do worked. So I just thought maybe y'all knew, because you never realize how much you need to be able to see all the graphics and stuff that we share. I was like,
So
oh my
Vicky,
God.
I'm just curious. If you go into the top of one of the chats, like our, high performance habits or sideline or whatever, and if you
Right.
click on the bar at the top with the name and look to the spot where it says media and graphics, do you see them loaded there? Or
No.
are they all blank?
They're all blank.
Oh, interesting. Oh,
See?
wow. Okay.
There's nothing.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I'm just afraid. I'm always afraid if I delete an app and reinstall it that I'll lose
Yeah.
what was there before. And you
Yeah.
definitely don't want to lose your messenger chat. with
Have you
that.
updated your
that's what I-
phone lately?
Yes, I did.
You have?
Yes, but not yesterday. I mean, it was a couple
Okay.
ago. So, technology. Thanks, y'all. I just wondered if maybe y'all had that problem, but
All
no.
right. Jump off.
All right.
It's
Thank you
great.
all.
so good seeing you guys.
Bye,
guys
guys. Oh,
too.
Thursday I'm going to be in the car. So yeah, I'll be listening.
Okay.
Bye.
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 Bye, guys.